Hello and welcome to Kinsei-Do Corner. Have you ever wondered how to unlock your full potential and live your healthiest, most fulfilling life? Then this podcast is here to help you achieve just that. We dive deep into the world of health and performance, exploring how to move better, feel better, and live a healthier, more fulfilling life. I chat with inspiring coaches, athletes, health experts, and high performers from all walks of life to learn from their stories, mindsets, and lifestyle choices. Whether you're an experienced high performer or new to the world of health and well-being, I'm in your corner to guide you on the path to being the healthiest, happiest, and highest performing version of yourself. Let's go. Hello, dear listeners, and welcome back to Kinsei-Do Corner. Happy New Year, first of all, from me to all of you out there. It is 2025, so unbelievably, that means this is the 5th year of the podcast. This is episode 62, so probably on average about an episode a month, but actually it's been a bit less lately. So I'm really excited to get the year started with a really great episode with two great guests today, and we're going to talk about something that I think is going to take Indonesia by storm this year, which is high rocks, a new sport. Well, I say new, but it's actually it was founded about 8 years ago. Yes, 8 years ago. Coincidentally by two German dudes. So there's my connection to high rocks already. So high rocks is a fitness race. We will talk all about what it is, how it looks like, and the two guests that I have on today, they have actually already done a race, or even two, if I'm not wrong. So we will get the first-hand insights from them. So welcome to the show, CJ and Vita. Happy New Year to you guys, and glad that you're here.
Happy
Hello,
New Year.
hello. Thanks for having me.
Yep.
You're most welcome. And for the long-term listeners, you will recognize Vita's voice because she was here in 2020 on episode number 4.
2020, really? 5 years ago? Oh,
Crazy, isn't it?
Okay.
So Vita has been here before. So hop back to that episode if you didn't listen to it and find out more about Vita's coaching career and background. But today we will talk about high rocks. So both of you, as I mentioned, have done a high rocks. Vita, I know very recently. CJ, maybe you can tell us when you did your high rocks, and then we can go from there. So why don't you both tell us about your high rocks experience first?
Okay.
So who's
Maybe
not
CJ
first?
can go first.
Okay. So the first time I knew about Hyrox, it was end of 2023. So I heard this about Hyrox race. It's actually not from the Hyrox. So I follow this guy. He owns a clothing brand. It's called Represent. I saw him posted a race, so I was quite interested with it, and I followed. So earlier last year, I tried to check the schedule, and the first race was on June or July in Singapore. That was my first race in High Rocks, and last September September apa ini ya Wita
Apa
was
tuh?
my
What
second
is it?
race in Hong Kong.
November. It was November, is it?
Hong Kong was November. So that was my second race. So I did twice. Yeah,
Ooh.
it's really interesting race.
And he was
So
so fat, guys.
Okay. Well, we'll get into that. Thank you, CJ. Vita, what about you?
Oh, well, I first heard of Hyrox. I actually forgot. I think long before it was cool. Because I remember I uploaded a story asking, when is anybody going to bring Hyrox here? And nobody responded. Maybe they still don't know what is Hyrox. Because at that time, the only competitions out there is just strength and conditioning, CrossFit competition. And nobody ever do any Hyrox of anything. And then I think not long after that, one of F45 members, he moved to Singapore, and there is the race in Singapore, and he did it. And I think not long after Singapore race, it started to take off, but some people already started to recognize, and then now it gets bigger as how it is now. I've been really excited to do high rocks because, as Coach Johannes know, endurance is right in my alley of pain. I love endurance type of workouts. I'm really excited when it's finally somewhere in Asia. So yeah. Then I did my
Yeah.
first race together with CJ in November last year.
November last year. Okay, so still quite fresh. The memory must still be quite fresh in your mind, and in your bones. Excellent. So yeah, we'll dive all into your experience and what that was like. So High Rocks is a race. I think we've kind of established that. It's a race for those people who don't know what it is, and for those people who didn't listen to episode 35 of this podcast, where I had Jemima talking about High Rocks. So again, go back and check that episode, people. But for those of you who didn't listen to this episode, why don't you guys tell us about what is High Rocks? What does the race look like? Because unlike CrossFit workouts, a High Rocks workout is always the same, right? A High Rocks competition is like a decathlon in athletics. It's always the same. So it's perhaps easier to prepare for it because you know what's coming.
Yep.
But that doesn't mean it's an easy competition, not at all. But do tell us, maybe CJ or Vita, whoever wants to take this one,
I think CJ can
what
take this one.
what is High Rocks and how does it work?
Okay, so High Rocks is a fitness race that incorporates a total of 8 kilometer runs and 8 functional fitness stations. And then there is with every station there is a 1 kilometer runs in between. So the functional fitness movements are mostly sled push, sled pull. There are ski erg, row erg, and then wall balls, burpee broad jumps, and then farmer's carry, and then walking lunges with sandbags. So it's a mix between those functional movement and then run. So it's kind of interesting race. And I saw like some of the people, they say it's the world's hardest race. I don't know if it's actually true. But I think it's kind of hard because while you feel like your legs are jelly, you still have to run on the race.
Correct.
Yeah.
You guys
even
know, right? You
Yeah.
guys know, you guys have the experience. I have only read about it and watched YouTube about it, and
Have you tried like the simulation or all that?
I haven't done the official or like a full race simulation.
Okay.
In my own training, I've done a little bit of, so just last week actually I did all the stations without the running, right? So I just did the stations.
Yeah.
That was hard enough. So if I imagine having to run in between 1K, so 8K in total, that's definitely a tough one. When you did it, and I guess we can talk about that as well. There are different formats, there are different divisions, there are different formats, like doing it either as an individual or with a partner. When you guys did it, what did you choose? Which division and which?
For me, I'm in open individual. I think, yeah, Wita as well is the same open individual. So there are
single.
like 3 categories. Sorry, 4. So open individual, and then open double, and then pro individual, and then pro double, and then there is mixed double. So you can mix with men and women. Also, it's available in pro. And then there's relay. Relay means like four
person.
team of 4. Yeah. And the difference between open and pro are just the weights for the stations, but the distance, the running distance are the same.
Yeah, okay. So that means, let's say a wall ball will be 9 kilos instead of 6. The sled push will be, I don't know, 200
100,
instead of
150.
150. I mean, even 150 sounds a lot.
Yeah.
It is.
And you so for people listening to this, some people I'm sure will be excited and they'll think, okay, this is, like Vita was saying, this sounds like a great endurance challenge and something that people like, especially like Vita and me, who are leaning more to the endurance side, because strength isn't so much our strength. Because of that, we may favor this kind of event, and there will certainly be people who will be like, no way in hell, never am I doing this. And that's fine. Why I said at the beginning that I think High Rocks this year is going to explode in Indonesia is because I think Indonesians in general love running. There's a running event every week, if I'm not wrong,
Yeah,
even
it's
more.
taking off nowadays. A lot of people are running. More people are running. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it started in the pandemic, but or maybe even before. But in the pandemic, it became really obvious. All these running people, all these running communities. But now, yeah, now it's even more. And then functional fitness like CrossFit has been growing rapidly as well. I think there's also almost every month we now have a local competition somewhere, which is great. I love those. But the mix is where
Yeah,
High Rocks comes in.
true.
So yeah, so okay, now that people know what High Rocks is, let's get into your guys' experience, because my hope is that from this episode, people who are leaning towards the hell yeah I want to do this category will listen to your advice, and they will learn from your experience. So
Yeah,
let's talk
hopefully.
about your preparation, physical and mental, as well as the race day itself. Maybe
Okay.
ladies first. Vita, let's go with you first.
Okay, so what was the question again? The prep?
Yeah, how did you prepare for your race? So your race was in November. When did you start the preparation? What did it
I
look
signed
like?
up. We signed up way before that, yeah, CJ, yeah, like 6 months ahead, because
Yeah.
because we're chasing the promo tickets for the airplane, so we got to sign up right away. So we just sign up like 6 months in advance. And yeah, I did a 12 weeks program from the process programming. I subscribed to that for the 12 weeks prep program. It's an awesome program. It's balanced between running and the strength stuff, and they also incorporate the high rocks workout. It's an excellent flow. But I think at that time during my prep, this is something I also need to be more to improve. So at first I thought, oh, okay, I already have this endurance base, so I lean toward more the strength, and I admit that I did not do enough running, and that was my mistake. Okay, mistake number one. Okay, we'll talk to that later. We'll talk about it later. So yeah, I also, because at that time I could not fit enough running session into my schedule. Yeah, because we're all mere mortals. We are not pro athletes. We already have other responsibilities. So I tried my best to follow their running schedules, but mostly I did the strength and then the high rock type of workout, the compromised legs and the high rock movements workout, and squeeze in the running as much as I can. But I remember I didn't think I do any intervals. CJ is gonna be mad at me if. I did not remember I'm doing an interval. Well, I did, but only on the treadmill. So most of my runs I did on the treadmill, and at 4:30 a.m. or like 5 a.m. because I did not have time on the weekends. So yeah, I did my best with what I had at that time. So yeah, but so that is my prep. What I did for my high rock, my first high rock. It's not ideal, but I think. Well, I tried my best effort for my first race, and definitely there are things that I will need to improve for my next preparation. Just now, because I'm doing the Taiwan race. Yay. So yeah,
You're doing Taiwan in April.
yeah.
All right, nice. Okay, you heard it here first, people. Excellent. Awesome.
CJ is also doing Taiwan.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Individual again?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
solo
for
solo
individual.
open.
Okay.
So yeah,
So all right.
that's physical prep, I think. Yeah. For mental
Okay.
prep, it's more like I'm excited to do the race because I like endurance type of style. So it's more like I'm excited how I'm going to do, because I know this is something that I can do. Unlike like CrossFit, it's more strength bias because it's more strength bias, I think, and endurance also. But you see barbells and high level gymnastics, not really my type of stuff. So I'm more excited to do high rocks. So I did not feel nervous at all until the day before. The day before, I couldn't eat. I was like, I'm like, me and this guy, we were already there in Hong Kong. I'm like, oh shoot, it's getting released tomorrow. So it's mostly the day before. Before that, I didn't feel nervous at all. But what I can share is maybe in my training, in your training also, maybe if you for the listeners, you gotta practice positive self-talk. I said that during the hard training, because you're gonna need that in the pain case during the high rocks. You gotta do your you gotta train your positive self-talk. I know it sounds like but it's true. It helps. Maybe during a session, instead of saying this is hard, this sucks, I'm gonna die, doing it, I'm not gonna finish it. Maybe you can flip your mindset saying, okay, this is supposed to be hard. Just be a realist. You don't have to say, oh, it's fun, because it's not. It's painful. You just got to be a realist. Oh, okay, this is hard. This is supposed to be hard, but we're okay. I'm okay. You just trust your training. What else? Yeah, just practice those positive self-talk, because when you're in like deep into the race and you're saying to yourself, oh my God, I still have like what, 3 more stations, 4 more stations to go. The pain is going to be much more bearable if you train that positive self-talk during your hard sessions on the training. So yeah, that's maybe what I train mentally. Yeah, that's all I can share.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you for sharing that, because I think as you exactly say, this is the part that most people ignore, right? You think, okay,
Yeah.
it's all about the physical training, and no doubt without the physical training you can't do it. It's too tough of a race. I mean, to give listeners an idea, the best in the world do this in just under an hour. So every one of us is probably looking at around a 1.5 hour mark. Maybe CJ, maybe you're a bit faster, but this is a long thing. It's a long workout. It's longer than almost anything that we do in CrossFit. So the mental side really, really comes into play. And I guess pacing, you haven't talked about that, but did you have a strategy, and did it work, or did it go out the window after the first station?
Okay, from my reaction you can tell. Okay. So yeah, this is also I'm guilty for this, because I did not think I would have a problem with pacing, because I love doing metcons, and yeah, I don't think I will have a problem with pacing. Maybe, but on the D-Day, maybe it's adrenaline, or it's just also maybe I was also overthinking it. Like, am I going too fast? Am I going too slow? That kind of ruins your plan, right? So yeah, it was something that I also need to do better, is pacing. I know it's surprising, right? Because everybody expects me to excel on that part. But yeah, during the race, maybe not to overthink. You need to have a plan, but also don't really overthink it. Like, am I going? You need to pace. The first 4 stations, I think that was the hardest part. The other also hard, but the first 4, I think it was harder. From my experience, if I can share now, I think I went too fast on the skier for my level of fitness, and then because by the second run, I already felt like I gave everything. So yeah, I'm just like, okay, we're just gonna hang in there from now. You can do this. Oh my God, okay. So yeah, somehow I finished the whole thing, but next time I'll pace better, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, this whole hang in there, you can do it. If that kicks in at the 7th station, you'll probably fine. If that kicks in at the 2nd station, that sounds like you're in trouble.
I was.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think from CrossFit experience, from when we coach CrossFit, already when you do a 20-minute AMRAP, we typically tell people start a lot slower than you think, right? So this is not a 20-minute, this is an 80 or 90-minute non-stop AMRAP. So start way slower than you think.
Yeah.
Okay, CJ, what about you? What did your preparation look like? When did it start? How did that go?
So for me, because my first race was in Singapore, so I think it's kind of the same like Wita. Like you went out too hot out of the gate. Like by the 2nd or 3rd station, you feel like, oh my God, it's only 3rd station. So I think pacing, and I think the most important thing for me, the preparation was you have to do at least full simulation, maybe 1 month before the actual race, so you can feel which strategy you can use, which pace you want to apply on the race. I think that's one of the most important to do before the race. And also, since Hong Kong was my second race, I have my strategy already, and I tried to take gels because on the first race in Singapore, I didn't prepare anything, so I didn't drink or anything. Only on the water stations, only water. And on the seventh station, I was starting to get a slight cramp, but I still
Ah,
managed. So I think, yeah,
that was the
the
worst. Yeah, the cramp was the worst. Oh my god.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's about the
yeah.
race.
Yeah, yeah.
For
Go on.
the preparation, because I usually train by CrossFit. I do CrossFit, and I think last January was my first time again to incorporate running on my workout. So I think you have to put more and a lot more running in your workout session if you want to do high rocks, because that's
Yeah.
like 50% of the race, right? And that's where you want to accumulate your time. I mean, less time on running so you can get a better time. I think that's it. And
Yeah. True.
Okay.
True.
Okay. So when you say you would, or when you think both of you needed or you should have trained more running, do you mean like long runs, like you do when you're doing like an aerobic, like a half marathon, or do you specifically mean would you what would you do differently? Would you do long runs or would you do like okay intervals, repeated intervals? What do you think is the better strategy?
so right now there are 3 to 4 types of running that I do, because the last time I didn't know, so I was just keep running, like maybe just put 5 to 10K runs daily, and I don't have programs like intervals and long runs or easy runs. So I didn't know about that. But right now I try to learn from running coaches. So I try to join running clubs and try to do intervals together, fartleks. The speed sessions are the most
Ooh, nice.
important for the
Mm.
high rocks, I think. For long
Yeah.
runs, I think long runs 60 minutes or 10K to 15K is enough. That's for me.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that sounds doable, and I think especially people coming uh, from a running bias, from a running background, they will be doing this kind of thing anyway. That's what the typical weekend run looks like, right? It's usually a long run. So for people coming from the running background, it's really more about building the strength and the skills in the stations, because even though high rocks is low skill functional fitness movement, wall balls and burpees and that kind of thing, there's still an efficiency component to it, right? If
True.
you do wall balls well versus if you don't do them well,
Yeah.
it'll be
It's an
it'll be
effect already.
much less tiring or faster or slower. So that's important. So get the technique right.
Mm.
Do things like the lunges, the farmer's carry. How do I hold the kettlebell? That kind of thing. Um,
Yeah. But
it's
yeah,
important.
if I can add, but at the end of the day, I think if you want to better your timing, or at least if you don't have any time target because it's your first high rocks, you still need to focus on the running part. Because sometimes people think, okay, I'll just recover on the running. But after you're done doing burpee broad jump, you're not gonna recover on the run. You're gonna walk.
Yeah,
So
there's no
that's
way.
why yeah, you gotta have, you gotta train running, man. And I know not a lot of people, especially from CrossFit background, gonna like it. But you can only improve your timing so much from the stations. But what changes it if you go faster on the run, right? So yeah, you gotta do your homework and run.
Yeah, yeah. To a degree, I'm almost like, and again, this is coming from me who hasn't done it, but when I look at the stations, I'm almost thinking some of the stations will be the recovery from the run, not the other way around.
No,
Right?
there's no recovery. No, man. The
You
whole
can
one
do a
and a half hour.
you can do a ski erg relatively slowly
Oh
and
yeah, yeah,
still
true,
get
true.
get meters
Right,
done, right? Same with the
right,
row.
right.
You
The
can do that
road,
relatively slowly.
For
yeah,
me, I
yeah.
think
For me,
the row is
the row is
free.
a bit better. At least you're sitting down, man. Right?
Yeah.
The only
It's the
pictures
only.
I got, yeah, the only pictures I got taken while I'm smiling is only on the rowers. The others are like mad.
Yeah.
All right.
Um, and the real sign of madness is that even though you've experienced that much pain, you're going for it
Yeah,
again.
I'm gonna do it again.
Yeah, that's right, and quite soon as well. Right. Let's jump into, since we're on this topic, the next High Rocks. So
Mm.
I think High Rocks will take off in Indonesia. I think we will be seeing a lot of people going from Indonesia, either from the CrossFit gyms or from gyms like Tribal Fitness, which is just a boutique gym that is also now High Rocks affiliated. I think many people will go to High Rocks races, hopefully to the point where the High Rocks headquarters sees the popularity and brings the race here. But I don't know if that's happening in 2025. For everyone listening to this, if you're from Indonesia, please push ahead, sign up for a race
Yeah.
in 25 so that
Flood
we can
them. Flood the
hopefully
race. Indonesia.
flood the races, flood the social media. You do
Yeah,
that
yeah.
anyway. And then we'll maybe bring one here, or I say we, but maybe High Rocks will bring one here. Suspecting Bali is a more likely destination than Jakarta, just because that's where a lot of functional fitness gyms are already doing High Rocks as well. But that would be super cool. It would be super cool to do High Rocks Bali in 2026.
Yeah.
Anyway, coming to your High Rocks aspirations, your goals for this year. So you're both doing Taiwan, which is in today is
April.
early January, and it's early, so it's exactly 3 months to go. And maybe that
Really?
scares you. Maybe that
months?
scares you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. 3 months to go. So you can already start up that 12-week plan again from the process.
All right.
But what are your goals? What are you thinking of? Doing differently, doing the same. What worked? What's your plan?
Okay, CJ can go first.
I go first? Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll just do one more individual open, and then I want to try doing doubles with a partner. So yeah, I think that's it for this year. But maybe at the end of the year, maybe High Rocks Korea. Yeah. But actually for me, the race, I think maybe 2 or 3 times this year. But I personally, I want to grow the community actually, the High Rocks
Yeah.
community.
True.
So I am focusing right now on making a pop-up events. As I'm right now, I signed up for the certified coach. So I can want to make a pop-up event for people who wants to try high rocks based movement workout every month. I plan to do it every month on several gyms. We did last month in
Roadshow. CJ is going on a tour.
yeah, something like that. And
Okay.
we're gonna do it this week.
Yeah.
This week, 12th January in
Sunday.
F45 Gading Serpong, this Sunday. So
Yeah.
for those
Super
people,
cool. Super cool.
Right.
so we invite those
Yeah.
non-members who wants to try high rocks.
Okay. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. You are doing the level 1 performance coach.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. Cool. All right. What about let's say concrete goals for the race? If you don't mind
Yeah.
sharing, what was your time?
Your
What was
new
your
goal
time the
time.
last time?
Ooh, we are
What's your target time?
So for Hong Kong, I did 115.
Wow.
Yeah. And then this year I want to try to do maybe 105 or 108 if possible. Yeah, I just have to do
It
more
is.
running. Yeah, I think
That's
that's the
awesome, and
target.
that's really fast. So where, just out of curiosity, where do you think you can get those 8 or 10 minutes from? Is it from the running, from the stations? Where do you have time to cut?
Yeah, I've checked my time, so I need to cut on lunges and then my burpees. I need to get it faster, and also the running definitely. So I was running at average maybe 5 minutes per kilometer. I just try to go down maybe like 4:30 to cut down.
Woo.
That's the plan.
Go CJ. You can do
Wow.
it.
Hopefully.
Yeah, sounds very doable, but then obviously it's 8 times plus the stations, so
Yeah.
definitely a tough drop, 30 seconds. What about you, Vita? What's your goals for the year?
I target 130 for my first high rock, but then I did not get it. I got 136. So yeah, 130. I'm coming for you in Taiwan. So yeah, where I plan to cut my timing from the run, improve my pacing, and some of the stations, like not some, but most of the stations, burpees. Surprisingly, I know, but my burpees are somehow slow. And then what else? Oh, the sled pull. So this is something like you can train, but on the D-Day, there are stuff that you just cannot control, right? For example, like if I can tell you a bit of a story, like for the sled pull, during the full swim, I nailed it. I did it pretty well, so I did not worry about that at all. I was much worried about my sled push. Turns out it's the opposite on the race day. My sled push was not that hard. I went pretty okay, like 2 minutes, I think, for the sled push. But for the sled pull, somehow on the race, my sled kept going sideways for some reason. I don't know, so it kind of threw me off a bit. So I'm like panicking, and it took me longer than I expected to do the sled pull. So yeah, things like that. Those things you cannot control on the D-Day also factors in. So we can only train and process training, hope for the best, and not panic. So yeah, 130, hopefully.
130 and 108, or even 105. We heard it here first, and we will see. We will see after Taiwan how you've done. Well, I wish you guys all the best. Good luck. I myself am still deciding whether I will. I am still deciding. I need
Why?
honestly. I have a lot of trips already this year, so it's going to be a bit difficult to fit in another one. But I'm really keen, and which is why, again, High Rocks headquarters, if you're listening, please put one in Bali. Do it now. But yeah, I will try. I will definitely try to make it to one race this year, and then see. I mean, I have the benefit of being a first timer, so my only goal is to finish. So that's my benefit. And then once I have, then of course suddenly
more
the
pressure.
aspirations to hit a certain time come in. Yeah. But anyway, thank you both for sharing your experience and for
Thank
sharing
you.
your tips. It's really useful. I want to kind of end and encourage everyone to try it out. Anyone who enjoys functional fitness, or if you enjoy running, either way, I think you'll find access to High Rocks. And even better, if you already enjoy both these things, then you definitely should come to one of those events that CJ has mentioned and that he'll be doing, or come and join us at Tribal Fitness if you're in BSD. It's the first, if I can make a plug here, it's the first official High Rocks gym in BSD. So just look that up on Instagram. So yeah, thank you guys. Thanks for sharing your insights and your experience. Thanks for your time. And I wish you guys all the best for your preparation and all the best for the actual race.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, CJ. Thank you, Coach.
I hope you enjoyed hearing about the High Rocks experiences of Vita and CJ. They both shared some incredibly valuable insights, and I'm sure those of you considering taking on a High Rocks race in the near future will have found their advice immensely helpful. Before we wrap up, I wanted to remind you all about my monthly newsletter, Kinsei-Do Fitness Nuggets. It's packed with actionable health and performance tips, interesting articles, and other tidbits that I pick up along the way. Go to kinseido.fit/nuggets to subscribe. For those of you considering tackling a High Rocks race, or simply interested in High Rocks style training, I highly recommend checking out Tribal Fitness. They are the first official High Rocks training club in BSD, and they offer dedicated High Rocks classes designed to prepare you for the unique demands of this challenging race. And finally, don't forget to subscribe to the Kinsei-Do Corner podcast on Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts. I have some exciting plans for 2025, with more frequent episodes featuring a variety of guests, as well as some returning favorites. Thanks again for listening, and until next time, stay healthy and well.